The champagne flute shattered against the hardwood floor, its golden liquid bleeding into the grain like a stain on my soul. I stood frozen, my fiancé's words echoing in my skull. Cancel Jake as your best man. I want Ethan there instead. The room spun, the fairy lights strung across our apartment blurring into streaks of gold and white. Her ex-Ethan, the man she swore she'd buried in her past, now clawing his way into our future. Lila's eyes, usually warm as summer honey, were flint-hard, daring me to challenge her. The air between us crackled, heavy with the scent of her jasmine perfume and the bitter tang of my own disbelief. Why? I managed, my voice a raw scrape, like I'd swallowed glass along with her words. She crossed her arms, her silk blouse catching the light, accentuating the sharp angles of her defiance. Ethan knows me, Tom. He gets me in ways Jake never will. This wedding, it's about us, not your childhood buddy's ego. Her words were a blade, slicing through the fragile trust we'd stitched together over 3 years. I wanted to scream, to demand why Ethan, of all people, deserved a front-row seat to our vows. But the question lodged in my throat, choked by the memory of her late-night texts, the ones she'd laughed off as nothing, just catching up. My stomach churned, a sickening mix of dread and denial. Was I paranoid, or was the truth staring me in the face, wearing Ethan's smug grin? The apartment felt smaller now, the walls closing in as I sank onto the couch. The leather creaked under my weight, cold against my palms. Lila paced, her heels clicking like a metronome counting down to some inevitable ruin. You're overreacting, she said, softer now, her voice threading through the silence. It's just a role. It doesn't mean anything. But it did. I saw it in the way her gaze flickered, avoiding mine, landing instead on the framed photo of us on the mantel. Smiling, oblivious, a snapshot from a time when I believed her heart was mine alone. My mind raced, replaying every moment I dismissed. Her phone buzzing at 2 a.m., her sudden need for space last month. The way Ethan's name slipped into her stories more often than it should. Each memory was a pinprick, sharp and cumulative, unraveling the fabric of our love. Lila, I said, my voice steadier now, though my chest felt like it was caving in. Why Ethan? Why now? I leaned forward, searching her face for the woman I thought I knew. Her lips parted, then closed, and in that hesitation, I felt the first crack in my heart. She sat across from me, her hands twisting in her lap. He's been there for me, Tom. When things got hard, when we got hard, he was a friend. That's all. Her words were careful, rehearsed, but they didn't land right. They hung in the air, heavy with omissions. A friend. I laughed, a bitter sound that scraped my throat. You're asking me to replace my best friend with your ex. That's not friendship, Lila. That's something else. My hands shook and I clenched them to hide it. I wanted to believe her, to cling to the version of us I'd built in my head. But doubt gnawed at me, relentless. She stood, her shadow falling across me. You don't trust me, she said, her voice breaking, but there was an edge to it, like she was daring me to admit it. After everything, you think I'd what? Cheat on you? Throw away what we have? Her eyes glistened, but I couldn't tell if it was guilt or hurt. I wanted to reach for her, to pull her close and erase the distance between us, but my body wouldn't move. Instead, I saw Ethan's face. His easy charm, the way he'd lingered at her birthday party last year. His hand brushing hers as they laughed over some shared memory I wasn't part of. My chest tightened, a vice of anger and fear. Then prove it, I said, my voice low, almost a growl. Show me there's nothing to hide. Her face paled, and for a moment I thought she'd confess. But she turned away, grabbing her phone from the coffee table. You're being ridiculous, she muttered, her fingers flying across the screen. The soft glow illuminated her face, and I caught a glimpse of a message before she tilted it away. A name, Ethan, and a heart emoji that punched the air from my lungs. What was that? I stood, my pulse hammering in my ears. The room tilted, the fairy lights now a mocking halo around her. She froze, her thumb hovering over the screen, and the silence was louder than any scream. It's nothing, she said, too quickly, her voice trembling. Just a joke. You're making this into something it's not. But her eyes betrayed her, darting to the door like she was calculating an escape. I stepped closer, my voice barely a whisper. Show me. It wasn't a request. It was a plea, a last chance to salvage what we had. She clutched the phone tighter, her knuckles white, and in that moment I knew. The truth was a blade and she was holding it. Tom, please, she whispered, tears spilling now, but they felt like a performance. Don't do this. I reached for the phone, my hand shaking, and she didn't stop me. The screen lit up and there it was. A thread of messages stretching back months. Miss you. Can't wait to see you. You deserve better. Each word was a dagger, carving away the life I'd planned with her. Photos too, her and Ethan at a cafe. Her smiling in a way she hadn't with me in months. My vision blurred, not from tears but from rage, raw and blinding. How long? I asked, my voice hollow. The phone felt heavy in my hand. A Pandora's box I wished I'd never opened. She sank to the floor, her sobs muffled against her knees. It wasn't supposed to happen, she said, her voice small, broken. It was just comfort. I was scared, Tom. Scared of us, of forever. Ethan was there, and I. Stop. I couldn't hear it. Not the excuses, not the rationalizations. The room spun, the walls pressing in, suffocating. I saw our future, our wedding, our home, our kids crumble into ash. You chose him, I said, the words tasting like bile. Every time you texted him, every time you lied, you chose him. She reached for me, her fingers brushing my arm, but I pulled away. Her touch burned, a reminder of every promise she'd broken. I love you, she said, desperate, but the words were empty, a ghost of what they once meant. I walked to the window, staring out at the city lights, their cold glow mirroring the ache in my chest. Behind me, Lila's sobs grew quieter, but they couldn't drown out the truth. I thought of Jake, my best man, my brother in all but blood, and the betrayal cut deeper. She tried to erase him, to rewrite our story with Ethan's name. I'm done, I said, turning to face her. Her eyes widened, searching mine for a crack, a chance to pull me back. But there was nothing left. Keep your ex, keep your lies. I'm not marrying a ghost. As I walked out, the door's click echoed like a gunshot, final and irreversible. The hallway stretched before me, dim and endless, but for the first time in months I felt free. Broken but free.